Hey guys, this is Jess from Whispers of Grace and Mama Joe.
Hey guys.
It is her birthday, so we wanted to get on here, show y'all a little bit of our real life. And we have dogs and a pallet on the floor and a roaring fire. And yeah, so we just kind of wanted it to be a Q&A, so please let us know who you are, where you're from, and if you would like to join in on conversation with us. My mother and I have a great relationship, but it's very different than what most people experience, and we're just kind of winging it today. So, excuse us. Okay. But yeah, so most of you already know who I am and what I do. And, Mom always knew something was different about me, that's for sure. But she's always been a great support system and a nurturer for me throughout my life and all the changes that I've been going through. And we are going on a new adventure. We're moving to the mountains, going to North Carolina in like 20 days, we said. Yeah. So we wanted to talk about that transition and everything that we're experiencing, trying to move and start a new life for ourselves. And also the fact that I am almost positive that Mom and I were sisters in a past life, because our relationship is ridiculous. We might as well be the same person. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into our relationship. So if you have any questions, please let us know. I see that a few people have jumped in and out, and hopefully my tribe will hop on shortly, because then I know it's going to be a great energy exchange. But yeah, guys, this is real life. We're got a bunch of blankets and pillows on the floor celebrating my mother's birthday. And because she's a special woman. Another thing about my mother is that she is a community mother. She is so great and so wise beyond her years. And, I think especially with Granddaddy being he was a wise man too. So he taught her very well. But she's a Scorpio, so she definitely has her own individuality thrown in there too. A little fiery. You should have seen her in her younger days. Hey, Dewey.
It was rough in your younger days.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit calmer now.
Dewey says, "Happy birthday, Mama Joe."
Thank you, Dewey.
So yeah, guys. But we are. It's a huge transition that we're going through, and it's actually kind of wild to how close we are, knowing how she used to be in her younger years. And she scared me a few times. Listen to that. She's actually, before we even knew about any of this, she was conjuring up weathers, lightning storms and stuff. So yeah, it's real deal. Mauricio says, Feliz. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I'm sure
it's probably happy birthday.
Yes. Hey, Ellie. Ellie says, "Happy birthday, Mama Joe." So yeah, guys, but we're just chilling. We got all the dogs laid up. As soon as I got the pallets on the floor, they moved in with a quickness. I was like, this is their kind of party. So we got the fire going. We're just chilling. And yes, happy birthday. Thank you. But yeah, we got 3. Four. Oh, Kenny's over there. She's back there, I promise, the little one. But if you hear Smokey snoring, I apologize. He gets kind of loud sometimes. But yeah, we wanted to show you what it's like in real life, not just me doing tarot readings and that kind of stuff. But did you ever feel that there was a different bond between us?
Well, you were just sunshine from the beginning. I always tell you that. But now that you're older and I see how much we're truly alike at stages of life, yeah, it is. It's like a mini me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We even the last few days, it's been really intense, because we're saying the same thing at the same time. We're constantly in tune. Hey, Michelle, how are you? She says, happy birthday, Mama Joe. Yeah, it's serious. A lot of people have said that. Oh, synchronization. Yes, very much so. We actually have gone, hopefully those logs don't fall. That would be really bad on camera.
Especially since my fire tools are packed on the other side of the room.
Our life's a mess right now. Danny's in the house. Happy birthday,
Danny.
Mama Joe from Brooke and Danny. Love you guys. Yes, love you too, Michelle. See, I knew my tribe would be in here soon. But yeah, guys. So what else did we want to talk about? Oh, so like the whole sister thing, because we actually are like, even though I know she's my mom, I've always considered her more of a friend. Like, dude, I don't know if I should say that on camera. We'll go the other route. Like, if you need backup, my family is the one to call. Like, I actually used to joke about that because I had an ex-boyfriend who was a douche, and he was like, you in what army? I was like, listen, we might not be a big one, but I promise you, you'll disappear and they'll never find you. They'll never even know. It's gonna be like poof, you never existed.
Only takes one good shot.
Yeah. But yeah, we were both very fiery in our younger days. I know most people probably look at me and don't think that, but because I'm usually a very calm person, and she's the same way. Like, we get along with pretty much everyone. That's another similarity.
But then there's that flip switch. Like, somebody says something and you're like, hell no. Not today.
That always takes me back. Yeah, we've both been in a lot of situations where we have had to step up, and we're not afraid to do that. So there's definitely a fire there, which I'm sure Brooke can understand. Damn Scorpio. But yeah, we've been like that our entire lives. Mom used to be fearless, like. Even my stepdad, he used to be like, Joanne, do you understand like what kind of position you just put yourself in? I've said that to her too. But yeah, she's definitely calmed down.
Yes, I have a whole lot. But you have those things that like hit you, and you get that anger, and you're like, I just can't take that person's shit today. Yeah. So I'm not going to take it. And maybe that'll save him from giving somebody else more shit down the road, or her. Yeah. Or a kid. Doesn't matter. Yeah. I jump in on all of them.
she's popped off on a few kids too.
Your mom might not beat your ass, but I will. I have done that at a water park one time, I will admit.
Okay, so backstory. This is a really good story, y'all. So my best friend has twins, and they were under a year old, or a year old.
They were
small.
Yeah.
And we took them to the water park because, listen, Mama Joe's a great grandma and a great mom. And I inherited that trait too. I've always been good with kids. We love kids. And so we're like, you need a break. Like, we love playtime. Yeah. So we're sitting here at the little sprinkler, and it's like, it only bubbles up maybe a few inches. And we're sitting there playing with the babies and that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, this big boy, right? I mean, he was still a kid.
Oh, yeah.
But I think he looked older than he
would have
really
played junior high football for sure.
Yes. But he was, obviously way bigger than the babies. And he comes and steps his foot on one of the little sprinklers in front of us and sprays the babies in the face. Listen, Mom has a hard time with balance. She's got 2 bad ankles. Like, she doesn't move very quick anymore. I've never seen this woman move so fast. Like, she did this little spin thing because she actually, what was it? You said you asked him.
I asked him nicely to stop.
Yes.
And he said, you can't make me, and he did it again. And he was about 9, y'all. He wasn't like a 5-year-old.
Right.
Either. He was 8 or 9 years old. He knew better. And when he did it the second time, next thing I knew, it was, you want to get your ass beat today, kid? And I'm running off with a baby in my arms, chasing this kid through the water park. And by the time Jessica said, "Mom, please give the baby back," his mother had caught him, thank goodness. And, you know, they were like, "What would you have done if it was a 6'5" man?" I said, "I guess I ought to beat his ass too." Because then I was just, and it's not even about anger. I think it's about injustice or bullying. I've never been the type that could stand by and watch somebody demean somebody else, or you know, the guys picking on even girls. I shouldn't say guys, people, you know, because there's a lot of mean girls out there, you know, bullying another little girl at the bus stop or something. I'm the one that pulls off on the side of the road. Do I need to go find your mother? Because I will. You know, I've just never done well with that. And so I think him being mean to those babies just flip that switch. He didn't come back.
No. Yeah, by the time I looked around, his mom had him and was like, okay, I don't think that lady is afraid to hurt you, kid. You know? So yeah, I mean, we do. And especially for anyone who, you know, can't stand up for themselves. We've always been those kind of people too. We're not afraid to step in. No. But I think that's what it takes, guys. Like, you can be the sweetest, most giving person, but you're not going to stand up for injustice either. And that's the healthy balance, right? Like, I think we should stand up for people who are too scared to talk, you know, speak for themselves, right. Or, you know, seeing someone in an uncomfortable situation or someone being abused in any kind of way. You have to speak up. Like, so many people are scared to get involved, but listen, you might regret when you see that person, you know, on the news later. Yeah. I mean, it's scary what this world is like, but that's why we need good people. And my tribe is that. And I know, like, and the more we grow, which it's amazing to see how many people have come into this tribe that are so similar to us and just understand us on that different level. Like, y'all get it. And so therefore I know y'all are good people, because we've always been that way. And however we can serve, we do. And, you know, whether it be standing up for someone or just giving someone a compliment and being there, like, there's so many people that have come to her, especially people from my life, my friends that don't have a mother, you know, or, you know, a very unhealthy mother, and they need one, and they just want their mama. Like, dude, you can borrow mine anytime because she's super good at what she does.
And we're all about love. Yeah. And there's no who did this, who did that. Don't even want to discuss it, you know, just come in and know there's love here, and we hold that space for you. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about. Yeah. And we're a very tight-knit group here. Like, my stepdad has been in my life 20 years now. And, you know, listen, we are not, okay, this is pretty easy, but our family dynamic over the years has not been, okay? And for someone to come into our life that was not only willing to hold that baggage for us, but to solve it, to eradicate it, whatever we needed, he was always there. And that, you know, really did. We always call him the knight in shining armor, because listen, he gets in his head sometimes, but he's the fixer. You need him best when he can rush in.
He's in it. You don't care what it takes, how long it takes. He's there. And it's really good to know that, especially with dynamics and with men in our lives. Like, so yeah, they are very important. And you know, because of who I am and the people that I've attracted in my life, there's a lot of people that I've met that don't have that. That family, they want family to be important, but they don't gain the support that they need from their family. And that's why, you know, I've even had to do it to Brooke. Like, listen, you need them. Yeah. I'm getting Mama Joe, because she knows, and she knows what it's like to, you know, her and her mother, you know, they had their good moments. I'm glad that I grew up during the time where she was sober and did she was a great grandma. She was a great grandma. But when Mom was young, she wasn't a good mom. And she was very much into herself and her addictions, and, really tormented Mom a lot growing up. And that's another hard thing that she's working through as well. But then she got sober, and when we were little, she was great, even up into my teenage years. But when my grandfather died, it wrecked her world, and she didn't know how to cope anymore. And especially since he was the one to keep her on the straight and narrow, she didn't really have anything to hold on to, I guess, and she just let herself go. Well, of course, us being the fixers and the doers, and we picked up the slack. It's funny because it took two of us and some other help, and Granddaddy did it with just him.
He was scared.
He was.
But in truth, she had 4 children, and let's see, y'all 2, 5, 6, 7, 8 grandchildren. She could have lived for.
Yeah.
But the addiction was strong, and she preferred vodka to anybody.
Yeah. And it was 30 years she was sober, right? Or
close to that. I would say. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, close to 20 years.
And most of the people that I have met that have unhealthy relationships with their parents, whether it be the mother or father, usually has to do with some sort of addiction. Like the day and age, I guess it's been a thing for a long, long time, but it's just like, it's out of control now. There are so many drugs out there, and alcohol is usually a main one, but it's definitely broadening way past that, and it just ruins people's lives. And I'm very thankful for the ones that can break themselves out of it and live a healthy life, because it really is. We've witnessed it on many different levels, and we see how hard it is but you have to want it. It has to be your decision that you're tired of that lifestyle, and making the necessary changes to come back from that. And that's not easy. So it's hard, man. Hey, Kelly, how are you? Yeah, the charming medicine cabinet. That would definitely be my grandma as well. Her main was alcohol, but
pills she didn't like.
Yeah, and she was honest about that. So it definitely wasn't easy for us, because there was actually one point when she was doing really bad, and Mom had broken her ankle. So I don't even know, how old was I when all that was going on? Maybe 19.
It was right before Jordan was with Sean, but Madison wasn't. She wasn't pregnant with Madison yet. So it was right before there, because we were at the lake when I broke it.
Yeah. So maybe 19.
Yeah.
Somewhere around 18, 19.
Yeah. So
So I ended up, having to take care of both of them. And listen, I can tell you right now, this one is not good at listening to doctor's orders. Like,
when you're in a wheelchair and you're used to doing everything, it just it doesn't work good.
No, she's never been good at feeling helpless.
No.
Like, she's always been her own person. She likes to do her stuff, and if anything hinders her, she gets very upset.
I'm getting much better at it.
You are. She is. I gotta give her.
I'm not driving hardly ever, and I'm learning to accept. But at that time, I was not.
No.
So they would come home and find me trying to get out the door or laying in the front yard.
Yeah,
up against the stove.
She's a very bad patient, guys. But she's definitely changed a lot, and she knows how to ask for help now. That's been a real challenge for you. And
but I think you were getting too grandma on the pills.
Yeah.
Because she actually hit me.
Yeah. she attacked my mother in a wheelchair over a bottle of pills, and she was already creating so much chaos, and that was even before I knew about how intuitive I was, because remember the day before I was like, she has guilty written all over her face. Like, I didn't know what she was up to, but then we found out she was doctor shopping, and she ended up I feel like she was almost overdosing. She was hallucinating really bad because she mixed a bunch of stuff. And so we took her to the hospital, and that's a whole nother, there's a lot of stories I can tell you about my grandma, but when, I've never seen anyone put their hands on my mom, because most people don't have the balls to, like, you know what I'm saying? So being in that position to actually have to jack up my grandmother because she's trying to knock my mother out of a wheelchair over a bottle of pills, like, dude, no. And I feel like when I did it, it wasn't that serious, but I guess from an outsider's perspective, it was a little more serious.
Oh, she necked her to the wall, people. Truth, reality, don't let her lie. It's like,
but you, my mama, like, this woman is my ride or die. She's my rock. She's everything to me. So yeah, like, I was even watching Erin Hurley's Daily Insight, and she was talking about there might be conflict coming up, and I was like, no one's ruining this day. This is her day. She's going to be celebrated. So that's why we're on a pallet with fire and pillows and dogs and just chill time.
Woke up, the heater won't come on this morning. We built a fire.
Because that's what we do. We improvise.
No big deal.
Yeah, love you too, Ellie. Yeah, we actually have a hot tub for her because she has a lot of autoimmune diseases, so it helps with the inflammation and stuff like that. So she does a lot of the water therapy, and it does. On her bad days, she'll get in there.
Yeah.
But it definitely helps take the pressure off both her ankles and the rest of the body. Yeah, but that's why I want to get her to the mountains, because our day is done here. Oh my gosh. So while we're talking about this, we actually accepted the counter offer, guys. So December 2nd.
We bought a house.
Yeah, we bought a house, a mountain house. And you know how I am with my signs and everything. So the first time I went up there, like I asked for a clear sign, like, Spirit, if this is it, like, just give me the clear sign. And I felt completely at peace. As soon as I got out of the car, there were ladybugs crawling on my car, one on my shirt, and a yellow butterfly, which I associate with the crazy granny that I was just talking about. She wasn't always crazy, so there's still a lot of love there. But, it was like following or like leading us out the road when we were leaving. So that was really cool. And then we went and looked at it this past weekend, and I said, Spirit, all right, listen, like, we're down to the wire. Give me a clear sign. And as soon as I get out of the car, 3 doe were crossing there's like some brush in front of our property line, and they were coming out of that and crossing the road into the field across the street, across the road. And I was like, this is so freaking cool. So that was another huge sign for me. And we just did. And Mom felt really comfortable there too. And a rabbit. Yeah. So, but she felt the same thing that I did last time I was there, and it like brought me to tears. It was so beautiful. And she felt it. She felt it was definitely a different energy than anything else we've seen. And we're really excited about this new chapter. I'm just glad we'll be waking up there every day. Like, I told her I'll never get rid of this property. But Danny says a little bit of masculine energy, Grandma. Yeah. Y'all are making me cry. I had to put my kitty baby to sleep yesterday. She was my ride or die. We've been all over the country together in the last 15 years. Oh, Kendra, I'm so sorry to hear that, honey. We are sending you so much love. You see all this puppy love? Take some of the puppy love. yeah, we'll definitely make a video once we get up there and get settled, and I'll have to show y'all around. So I'm really excited. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. We went and drove a bunch of the roads around the house and went and looked at the Cowie Mound, and that was really cool. I love that place. And you know, we always said that we wanted to be in the mountains but not have like super crazy roads, and they were perfect drive. Like, can't wait to drive these every day. We have cows for neighbors.
Yeah.
Like, we're out in the sticks, y'all. And it's beautiful. The Little Tennessee River runs right in front of the property, and it's a beautiful, beautiful area, and I can't wait to have some of you come visit, because it's going to be great. It's not as big as we thought it was going to be as far as land, but it is so sacred. So if we ever want to do like a camping thing, we can totally do that. Yeah. But yeah, I love the puppy love, girl. Move fire. Oh, I got you, Dewey. All right, Kendra.
Yeah, all year we haven't had to hit the heat yet, but this morning it was a little chilly in here because it was, I guess, 29 last night. So luckily our house is well insulated, but it was getting like, I think it was 67 when I looked at it. And I flipped that button and I didn't hear a damn thing. So after this video, I'll call the HVAC guys, but I'm just not too concerned about it. We built a fire and that's what it is. Of course, my husband would say call them now, but you know what? They'll get here. That's what it is, staying positive in the midst of things that come that aren't so positive. Who cares? We're warm. And if we have to sleep on a pallet here in front of the fire tonight, I kind of enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. So what else you want to talk about, Mama?
Think about the stuff you accumulate on a daily basis.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
We are having to make trips to a storage unit up there every single weekend because we got so much stuff that even with 3 of us driving, we won't be able to take it all in one load. So last weekend, Jess and I took the first load up there in a U-Haul trailer, and this coming weekend, my brother and his wife are actually going with us. So Larry and I will pull one trailer, and they'll pull one trailer. And then we'll probably have to go again next weekend with at least one trailer. And then the final weekend move, where we'll all have a trailer. So think about all the stuff you got and whether it's important to you. We get all this clutter, and it's like, I've realized how unattached I am to the majority of it. Yeah. We're still working on Larry with that. But yeah, when it came time to pack up, it's like, gave a lot of stuff away, even selling furniture. Like, all this does not need to go with this. So we are downsizing. And, but hell, I think we still had like 6 boxes full of books.
Yeah.
You know?
Which
it's like,
we don't read.
Do you need these? You know, like even my cookbooks, some of them are important to me, but probably not more than 5, you know. You can find any recipe on the internet you want if you need it, you know. So kind of makes you think about all the things you have that just take up space. And maybe I was a minimalist at heart or something. Yeah. Because I'm like, get it gone.
So Dewey says that it is only 4 degrees there. So I'm really glad we're here. Sending you warm thoughts.
Thank you. I don't think I'm built for 4 degrees.
No. Yeah. So, hey Xavier, how are you doing? And yeah. Oh my gosh. Kendra says definitely have to think about what you have while living in a 26 by 7 foot bus with 2 kids.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
That's life. Love you for that.
We have 5. Like, they're children. Okay. Yes. They're very needy. So Yeah, no, we've been considering that too, because we knew we were going more to a minimalist,
Right.
Lifestyle, and definitely downsizing a lot of things. And yeah, exactly. Xavier's going through the same thing,
Yeah.
and it's like it really makes you question, what do you really need,
Right.
and what's really important. I mean, I've moved a couple times in the last few years, so like I really started getting rid of stuff over 2 years ago, and it just keeps getting smaller and smaller, and I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need a lot, and even now, like, some of the stuff that I have is a just in case, like, but it really brings it in perspective. And the lifestyle that I used to chase, thinking that I needed all these things, and I really don't. So it's refreshing, and it's freeing to get rid of all of that and to bring it down. But it does, when you're moving, especially to a whole different state, like, dude, it's not even worth it. It's really not. So, but it's a big step for us, because I've never lived anywhere but South Carolina. So even though it's only one state away, like, this is going to be a big step for me. And she hasn't moved anywhere but here since you were a kid. They used to move around because my granddaddy was a shrimper. So they traveled up and down the coast, but yeah, I mean, you've been here a long, long time.
Oh yeah, we're 40 years.
Life, yeah. So, but yeah, there was something else that I wanted to talk about too.
We've been in this house almost 20.
Yeah.
It's the longest any of us have ever lived in one place.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how that was actually going to happen, because when I was a kid, we moved like every 4 years, or in the same area, but we bounced around. And so when Larry came along, it was like, what is happening? Because everything changed so quickly, and then we moved out here and they bought the house. So 20 years, and none of us were used to that. None of us, because even you pretty much went to the bouncing around for a while, stayed in Charleston for a while, but then bounced around all over the Tri-County area. So and well, even Larry, this is the longest he's ever been in one place either. So we're all in the same boat and ready for change. But I think it's going to be super exciting and super peaceful. Apparently, deer and turkey wander across this land all the time, and it's just so quiet. It's so quiet. Like, when I'm recording, and I just want that peace and quiet, not hearing sirens go by our house every day. It's definitely going to be a totally different feel, and y'all see it. Oh, Melissa Mitchell's here. She said, "Happy birthday, Mama Joe."
Hey,
So,
I hope you had a good one too.
Yes.
All us Scorpio babies.
Yep. So, what else was there? Do y'all have any questions that y'all would like to ask us? Has anyone? I want to ask a question. Y'all think about what you want to ask, because we'll answer it. But has anyone else felt like there's someone in their life, like me and Mom, where we have a certain role that we play, but there seems to be a different connection, or you feel like you were related in a different way in a past life? Is there anyone else that experiences that? Like, even though she's my mother in this life, I feel that she was a sister in a previous life. I feel that same way about Christian, though. Christian's one of my best friends, and she's another ride or die. Like, we'll be lifers for sure. But I know that I was her best friend and a sister in a previous life. I was also, we go back to the Egypt life, I was technically her servant. So yeah, I mean, we've found each other throughout all these lives. And so I know that we definitely have a very significant role, no matter what, in each other's lives. But I feel there's not many people I feel that with, but yeah, Mom, we've been saying that for years. We've always been really close, in each other's heads all the time. So
to the point of, get out of my head!
Yeah, multiple times. Krista says, happy birthday, Mama.
Thank you, guys.
Dewey says, deer screams are kind of frightening when you're in seclusion. I'll have to remember that.
Wait till the dogs go for
yeah.
him. This big boy
Oh
got him
God.
a possum the other night.
He ate it, guys.
He did eat it. It was pretty terrible.
I really thought that he had jumped over a 6-foot fence. It's like he started growling at something and then beelined it for the fence. I heard the nails going up the fence, and then all of a sudden it went quiet. It was like a little bit of leaves rustling. Please tell me he did not jump the fence. So I'm out there. It's pitch black. I'm with my flashlight, and he has a possum in his mouth. And all I could see was this big gaping hole and a lot of blood. And yeah, so that happened. This one right here, Charlie, he did. I told him, I was like, can we please stop eating things and getting bit or, hospital visits? Can we just calm it down a little bit? Thankfully, our vet is amazing and didn't even charge me for bringing him in because I thought he got scratched, but then they brought it to my attention. It might not have been his blood. That's frightening.
Yeah.
No more kisses. So, yes. Okay.
No loves for you.
So Kendra says, yes, my son Moses. I feel like he was my parent in a previous life. I have actually heard quite a few people say that too, where they feel the roles were reversed between mother and child. I've heard that too. That's very interesting. Are you getting schooled by your kid? Kelly says, yes, she has my best friend, Christy. Okay. Do you feel like she was a sister, or like did she play a different role? Kendra says, happy birthday, Mama Joe.
Thanks, guys.
Dewey says, fire in his blood. Go, Charlie. I see who the instigator is.
He's the protector.
He is.
So
you should see him with Kimmy, the little one. She's still back there. You can kind of see her. But yeah, so she was actually my first dog. She's 14 years old. She's blind and deaf. It's a struggle. And so Charlie actually used to never get along with other animals. I mean, I couldn't even take him to the vet without him freaking out. And now he's laying in front of the fire with 3 other dogs right now. So, but the relationship he has with Kimmy is so funny because going from not being able to be around other animals to being like straight protector mode, and if she feels like there's anything on the other side of the fence, she'll kind of growl and go after it. And he gets up from wherever he is and will like run in front of her, trying to deter her from going over there. So he acts like the big brother that is not going to let her do it by herself. No, I got it. Just tell me where they're at. So we got Willow too. Hey, WB. She's like, what's going on? Yeah. Kelly says, I feel like perhaps a romantic connection. She has more masculine traits in her personality. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. And there's, and it's funny because Brooke and I have had this conversation too, where, I mean, obviously I feel like I definitely am a divine feminine. I do have very feminine traits and the abilities that I have, but I also have had a lot of people tell me that I'm very masculine too. So it's kind of confusing for people, but I feel like I'm a good balance between the two. I don't think that I necessarily lean towards one or the other, which I've always kind of been like that too. But I grew up in the country. It was just my brother and my cousin, who's also a boy, for like 10 years. So I grew up around boys. All we did was play in the sticks and hurt each other. That's what we did best. And yeah, I mean, I always kind of grew up like rowdy country type thing. And then it wasn't until we really moved into the city, like, that I didn't have all my country folk friends, that I ended up trying to become more aware of, you know, that more feminine trait, because I was always a tomboy. And I got teased a lot because I just wanted to be comfortable. Then the older I got, it's like, okay, well, you can be cute and comfortable. But yeah, I don't really have a good medium, guys. It is one extreme or the other. Either I am like hobo pajamas, like I am right now, you know, or I, you know, just like my everyday wear is kind of cute but comfortable, not too masculine, not too feminine. Never been good in heels, ever. They hurt. I don't see the point. Put me in a pair of cowboy boots, we'll call it a day. And yeah, but when I get dressed up, I really know how to get dressed up too. So again, balance. But most of the time, I just want to be comfortable. I really don't care that much. So what's everyone saying? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Kara, how are you? Melissa says, happy birthday, Mama Joe.
Thank you, Melissa.
Yeah, thank you, Krista. I used to always think that I sounded like a man, which you always kind of thought you did too. But, you know, I don't feel like it's a man voice. It's just deeper than most. We don't have high-pitched voices. So, but yeah. Does anyone have any questions? Do y'all want to talk to us about anything? Already been on 40 minutes. See how fast it goes? My tribe will do that to you. But yeah, I mean, y'all want some wise words of wisdom? This woman right here, she'll give it to you. She'll give it to you straight. And you wonder where I get it from. But yeah, if you have any questions about your spiritual path or whatever, you know, we can definitely give y'all some insight. Kara says, chasing Lachlan, putting socks on Lachlan, my socks, finish my daily read. Oh, happy birthday, Mama Joe. The busy mama. But yeah, let's chat, guys.
And I think I always thought I would always say, like, yeah, I got more man than woman in me. But the more I think about it, because I got the nurturing mother side, and I never was much of like a makeup or dress up person. But, you know, the protectiveness that comes with the what I assumed was the masculine side might just be the motherly stuff too. So.
But we were actually having this conversation the other day too, because of, you know, my role and being a psychic and a medium and all these abilities that I've come across. You know, now she understands why her role was so important, because I needed both and I didn't always have that masculine energy in my life. So even when it came to my stepdad, it took me a lot of years to truly accept him as his role in my life that he was trying to be. And he did. He absolutely proved himself. And, you know, I'm fully aware of his role in my life now. But Mom did a lot of it for the majority of my life. And she needed to be that tough and, you know, straight protector mode. Like there's many times that she jumped in on things for me and tried to direct me as much as possible in that leader role. But then she also knew how to be that loving, compassionate energy for me too, because of me being a sensitive. And you always knew I was sensitive. So shoot, even when I was young, I mean, they told her to put me in drama class because I love to chat. So obviously I'm in the right business now. But yeah.
You were only 4.
Dewey says, thought you got advice from Source. Would that make Mama Joe Source? Listen, she's wise now. She's got some good stuff in there. And she does. I swear she channels too, because there's sometimes where she doesn't like fully understand her capability yet, but when she's giving advice and being that community mother, like the things that roll out of her mouth are just so natural and so in alignment. It's like no matter what her actual belief system is about it, it's always great advice. And that's one thing I've always appreciated about her, and my friends have too, because you channel this like deep information.
Feeling,
yeah. So, okay, so Kendra says, how can I be better at seeing signs from Source or ancestors? So, like, honestly, it's about being in that mode, because, okay, most of us, which the majority of us really are so busy and life gets so hectic, and we're always thinking ahead, and then reliving the past too, which keeps us out of the present moment. When we learn to hone in on the moment more, we tend to open up a little more. And it's about allowing, receiving, and not questioning. When we have a more heightened sense of awareness of what's going on in the moment, then we're more aware and able to receive those messages. And then over time, it just becomes second nature. Like you don't question it as much anymore, because a lot of us will get, what seems to be, a significant sign for most people, where others see it as little. And it's all perception, but whether it's big or small, it's still a sign, and that sign is always meant for you. You can also be clear, like set your intentions, talk to them, let them know, okay, Spirit, if I make this, if I make this decision, give me if this is for my highest good, right? So say like maybe you're thinking about changing career or, making a significant change in your life. If this is for my highest good, please give me a sign, right? You have to be clear with what your message is or your question is. So just ask, if this is in my highest good, please give me a sign. You can even be as clear as, bring me a butterfly, or, and it can come in many different forms. It doesn't have to be just a physical, alive butterfly. It can be a portrait, a painting. Mm-hmm. It can be, a little inspirational quote about a butterfly. Like however that needs to come through, allow that to come through. And then when you get it, don't be like, oh, is that my sign though? A lot of us do that, and it's a normal part of the process. You will get over that eventually, but really it's just about being in the moment and being open to receiving. And if you need like a definitive sign, then like, okay, me and the property, give me a definitive sign. Okay. As soon as I got out of the car, there's a ladybug. The ladybugs represent luck to me. They also represent love. So big sign for me. The yellow butterfly reminded me of my grandmother. Okay. And then we get to the next property, and before I even knew where we were, my whole body reacted like, come close. I didn't want to expand my energy there. And my logical mind got really confused, because that house needed a lot less work than the one we're actually purchasing, but I didn't feel comfortable there. I was having an anxiety attack, which I don't even have anxiety anymore. So that's my body clearly telling me that something's not in alignment. Go back to the other side of town where this house is. I come to tears and I'm like, why are my eyes leaking? Okay. My stepdad, who, has his own beliefs and whatnot, but he actually said to me, they're welcoming you home. And that hit me so hard, because when I first started this journey and all my native ancestors started coming through, they just kept telling me, I want you to come home. We want you to come home. And it's like, and when he said that, I was like, this is what they've been preparing for me for years. You know what I'm saying? And then the next time, this past weekend, we go up there. Okay, Spirit, if this is the property we are supposed to purchase, and this is going to be for our highest good, please give me a clear, definitive sign. And as soon as I get out the car again, 3 deer are crossing the road. So like, you know, most people would look past that, but me, I take that as my sign because I asked for a clear sign. What's the coincidence that 3 of us are moving there and there's 3 deer crossing the road as soon as I get out the car? As soon as I get out the car, I'm seeing signs. Where the other property, I didn't see anything. I felt really restricted and I didn't feel comfortable there at all. The other property, I felt completely free, at peace. I want to be here. And that's another sign. It can just be a subtle frequency change. So, but yeah, it's about paying attention and just allowing the signs to come to you however they need to come through. Even if it's a favorite number, if it's on the back of a truck or you're seeing it on a bunch of signs or your total, like all these things. We've been receiving 5s all morning. Like it just, they follow you. Okay. So,
and I would say be aware of, because Jessica gets the big hits, you know, she's all in downloaded, I say. And what I feel I get is intuition. Like, it's things you don't even think of. You drive by somewhere and, you know, your brain says to you, you should stop and check on somebody. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then like 3 days in a row that happens and you stop to check in on them finally and they're having a horrible time and you realize you were getting little signs to stop and check in on them. So it's being aware of what, like, I don't know if it's your subconscious, your intuition, the universe, but somebody's telling you, you know, somebody might need your help or you're meant to be here or whatever. So I'd say mine is learning how to pay attention to my thoughts and acting on those thoughts. And I'm always glad when I do. So, you know, I don't know why I'm thinking about this. We were talking about getting rid of stuff and I walked by these 5 paintings I had the other day and I'm like, oh, these would be great for one of our friends. You know, her family's always been on the water like us. They would love it. So I called her and sent her a picture and said, hey, do you want these? And she had just redone a room in the lighthouses. So they were great for her room. So it's even little things that you think, you know, why would she pop into my thoughts first? It's for a reason.
Absolutely.
So just pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm. So let's see what. Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that later. Okay. Sorry, guys. I thought I almost messed up. Oh, Willow, why are you limping, baby? Okay, so Krista says, yes, I keep hearing I reached my peak of spirituality. I just want to work with it, but don't know how to start. Well, usually when I feel like I'm at a peak, I ask for spirit, because listen, you know, we do come to certain peaks within our ascension process. Like once we get to a certain point, we almost feel like, okay, there's a need to expand more. It's never ending. It never stops. So usually what I end up doing when I feel like I've reached a peak, and I get there too, I almost feel too comfortable in the high that I know there's a new lesson right around the corner. So I just ask spirit, like, okay, I'm ready to take it to the next level. What do I need? And listen, usually the tower is not too far behind because it's something clearing out. And some can be more, you know, brutal than others. Some might just be a small lesson. It might be a big one. But usually I end up asking, like, okay, if I feel like I've reached that peak, what is the next lesson so I can continue moving forward and learn as much as I can so I can help other people. In all honesty, I just ask. So, yeah, there's a lot of unawakened or unaware people. You know, you definitely want to feel them out. Okay, like when I went to go get a massage and a facial the other day, massage therapist instantly fell in love with. Totally felt him out before we even started because he commented on my necklace. And I was like, yeah, I gotta, I love my labradorite. I always keep it close. Gotta keep crystals on deck. I had all my bracelets on. And he goes, yeah, me too. Pulls out 2 palm stones. I was like, I knew I was gonna make a friend today. Started channeling messages from his past loved ones right there on the massage table. And I was like, listen, I know this might sound a little crazy, but again, he even said, because I told him I do a lot of energy work and I'm a sensitive. And he goes, well, I hope that I don't, push my energy onto you. So I already knew he had some sort of awareness. So when the messages started coming through, I was like, listen, I know this might sound weird, but I'm a medium. And your loved ones are, coming in hot and heavy right now. Would you be open to hearing their messages? And he's like, sure. All like the rest of the 30 minutes of my massage, they're just bam, 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 bam. And everything made sense. I get to the other girl who did my facial, didn't connect with her one bit, and she tried to add on a bunch of services, then sell me $100 worth of product, and didn't have a lick of, not even a personality or sensibility. And it was just like, well, I know where this other part of the tip is going, because I connected with him and he let me, where she was just about the money and, just very closed-minded. So again, you got to feel people out, even in the smallest moments. If you feel that they're closed-minded or, you can always start off, I always be like, oh, well, do you have intuition? Everyone has intuition. I've had conversations with like in-depth organized religion church goers and like hold conversations for hours because I ease them into it. I don't just go like, oh, well, I'm a medium. I talk to your dead friends and family. And, obviously going up to people say, I talk to dead people isn't a cool thing, So, you gotta come to it on their level and in their terms in order to, work them up to it, because most people that meet me love me. I have a great personality. I'm very friendly. I get along with everyone. So, then once I let people feel me out for themselves, because again, if you're attracted to me, then you resonate with my vibration, right? So I'll just let myself do my thing, and then they can decide for themselves whether they want to be aligned with that energy or not. If they do and they feel compelled to go further, usually comes up to the point, so what do you do for a living? Well, let me tell you. I own my own spiritual healing business. That's what I start off with. Oh, well, what does that mean? Well, have you heard of Reiki? Most people have heard of Reiki. Well, yeah. Okay, well, I do that, among other things. Usually tarot is about the last one because most people think that tarot is of the devil. So I tell them, I've done parties and stuff where it's like I'm reading for all these friends and pulling out tarot, but then there's some people who are really against it. So I don't pull them out just to make them feel comfortable. Like I don't have to do it. But I can channel all day long. I don't need the cards. So I just use my intuition, and my guides help me navigate these conversations that, when they see that you're not really any harm and you're not judging, you're not bashing, you're not trying to convince them to come over to your side. No, you are allowed to have your beliefs. I have mine. We have a simple conversation. But if you have a closed-minded person and you're trying to talk to them about these things, it's not going to go well. So align with the people who are at least open-minded or understand where you're coming from. And trust me, you will have a lot better conversations. Okay. Because I can't have 3D conversations anymore. It's really hard for me if I'm not talking about some sense of awareness or intuition or abilities or what life is. And, the grander scheme of things, I get bored very quickly. So that's just who I am though. So, let's see what else we got going on in here. Hope that helps. Oh, what's happening?
A lot of them.
A lot. Okay. So, Kara says, my dad and I just finished talking about how we all have both feminine and masculine energies, and is regardless which one is more dominant than the other. Yes, and I completely agree with that. My mom has always been the disciplinarian of the family. My dad is the pacifist scholar. Okay, so yeah, Barb, she's the best. Like, I'm very lucky to have her. Hey, Caitlin. Isabel says happy birthday. Caitlin says happy birthday. Pushing mad love your way, Mama Joe, and celebrate you. Yeah, guys, that love.
I'm really low maintenance. My only request for my birthday is we go for burgers tonight.
Yep. We have this little burger place that we used to love going to, and we haven't been there in years. And that was one of our things before we leave. We have to go to Matt's, and what better way than to go for her birthday? Just saying. So
it's a 2 for 1. It's a move and a birthday.
Mm-hmm. Caitlin goes the rough route. She said, some do believe tarot is of the devil, and I'll pull that tarot deck out in a heartbeat, and if they don't like it, they can walk away from me. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and two, I was a hairdresser for 13 years, so it would have been really nice to know it prior to the last 4 years of my career. But that's actually how I found out I was an empath, and I needed the stones to get me through the workday, because most people who work with the public like that need that kind of protection, especially if you are sensitive. And most of us who are hairdressers or work in the spa industry are. So there's a lot of us out there that do it because we want to be in service. We want to make people feel better. And there are other people out there doing it, but I've met a lot of sensitives through the salon industry in general. But yeah. Caitlin says, I've had my father tell me not to come to his home anymore if I have those cards. Okay, I don't go now.
Yeah. And listen, y'all, if somebody is not positive in your life, I don't care if it's your parents, your children, whatever, you don't have to be a part of that.
No.
You don't. I think we have this big misconception that you love family no matter what. And you probably do, but you don't have to like them.
No.
And you don't have to let them mistreat you for any reason. And if they're not on board, then you'll eventually come on board when you want to see me again. Mm-hmm. But don't talk down to me.
No.
I don't do well with that.
So, but yeah, guys. Do y'all have any more questions before we hop off? Because now I get to go enjoy my mother for her birthday. But I wanted to share her with y'all. So Kelly says, when do other gifts such as mediumship or seeing come in once you've started trusting and using your intuition? Well, I mean, honestly, I've always been a medium, but I actually turned it off. I had my experiences as a child with spirit, with ghosts, whatever you want to call it. My biological dad, his old house in McClellanville, South Carolina, was super haunted, and I had experiences, some that were, not too bad, but others that were really scary. And that also opened me up to the duality of being a mediumship. Like, we think, oh, we can talk to dead loved ones and blah, blah, blah. But, being a bridge between the realms, like, there's light and dark everywhere. So I experienced a lot of the darkness as a child, probably because I was a beacon and I didn't understand my gifts or how to use them. But I did have several attacks from one spirit in that house that was trying to scare me and hurt me. And so I think it was around 13 that I ended up turning my gifts off. I was like, I don't want to experience this anymore. I was hearing voices, furniture was moving, things falling off the wall, smacking me in the face as I was napping, smaller stuff, pictures moving, you know, just an inner knowing of a presence being there, those kind of things. But when you say those kind of things, even as a child, they're like, most people, oh, that's your imagination, that's not there. And then when I started experiencing the really scary stuff, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want this responsibility. So I ended up shutting it off. And then I started going through that was my darkest period, you know, when I was disconnected from my abilities and from God. Like I was miserable the entire time. I was in and out of, you know, psychiatric help and all these things, anxiety, depression, suicidal tendencies. I was very, very lost. And then it was right around my mid-20s that I started hearing the same voice that I was hearing from my childhood. I started experiencing things that I, you know, wasn't quite aware of, but I was already opening up to being a sensitive and an empath. And I want to say that I was already doing that kind of work of trusting my intuition and working on these things for about a year before it started really picking up. And then it got to the point like, okay, I can't deny this anymore. This is really happening. Thankfully, my best friend, was going through it at the same time. So we had each other to kind of lean on as we were waking up. So we actually went to a beginner's mediumship course together in order to learn the boundaries and what to do and those kind of things. But yeah, it took me about a year of, you know, reading tarot, trusting my intuition and that kind of stuff before I realized that I could actually communicate with them the way that I do. And it's still been a process. I mean, it's been about 3 going on 4 years now. And yeah, and I'm still trying to figure out how far my abilities really go. And it's a very interesting process. You just got to take your time with it. So, Kara says, my first vision was right before a traumatic accident, which is why I tried to push them away. I've had so many negative experiences around my abilities that I pushed them away for 2 decades. Yeah, I can completely understand that. Oh, thank you, Krista. She says, I wish you a very nice birthday and sweethearts. Enjoy. Yeah, like, I'll actually tell you about my 2 weirdest experiences, which was definitely in my dad's house. Oh, thank you, Isabel. Thank you. So one of the scariest experiences I ever had, I want to say that I was probably right around that age that I cut it off. Maybe 11 or 12 with the yeah. So it was after my dad's mother had passed away and I was staying in her old room. And the way that the house was set up, so the front door, which we never used, we always used the side door, but the front door actually had this little entryway that led to that bedroom, the living room, and the attic. And it was like really late. I mean, it was super late. I don't even know what time it was because this was before we had cell phones and stuff. But I heard someone walking upstairs and it sounded like heavy boots. And I thought it was my dad. Like, what is he doing in the attic at this time of night? I mean, it was late. And I just kept hearing it go back and forth. Well, the attic was only so big, you know, and it was narrow. So I couldn't understand what he was doing up there. And then I started getting creeped out because it just kept walking back and forth. Next thing you know, as soon as I start like tuning into it, trying to figure out what it is, I hear it start coming down the stairs. And I was like, okay, well, I didn't hear a door open, but I heard it walking back and forth in the little entryway there. And so that's when I really started getting scared. I'm like, what is happening? I mean, it's one of those putting the blankets over your eyes and trying to peek stuff, because I heard the footsteps come into my room without opening a door. It walked to the foot of my bed and just like stopped. And that's really what it's dark in there. So you're trying to let your eyes adjust. You can kind of see, but you really can't. But there's no one there. It wasn't a physical body. And as soon as it stopped, I got this like the heartbeat feeling, and there's a little, what is the makeup?
Vanity.
The vanity. And it was my grandmother's vanity pushed up against the wall where the windows were. And as soon as it stopped, it just shoved this vanity up against the wall. And I throw the covers over my head, give it a second, I bring them back down, and the mirror was still moving. I hauled ass. I was like, nope, I'm not staying. Nope, I'm not sleeping by myself. That is for sure. This house is creepy. I'm not doing it. And I went in and I jumped in the bed with my dad. It's like, you're not leaving me alone. There is something in this house and I'm not having it. So that was definitely one of my scariest experiences. But then even after, I think it was either right before or after that, and that's probably why I was so freaked out, was because I was having a nap in the room that Dad was actually staying in. He had these porcelain mask hanging up on the wall. Well, the biggest one, of course, it weighs a few pounds and it's like this big. It was on an eye hook too, so it had to be lifted up and come off. But it smacked me right in the face as I was sleeping. So that's when I realized that there was obviously something in that house that did not like me, and knew that I could sense it, because it messed with me a while. So, but yeah, and I was terrified. And I've even had, since I've been doing this, I've had a couple run-ins with some not so nice entities and spirits, and definitely attached to other people. But some were more sinister than others. Some were really, really nasty. And that was actually just at the beginning of this year. It feels like it's been longer, but it hasn't. So, which that's why another thing, be careful who you align with. So it's very important that if you align with people who are constantly, negative and wanting to complain about life, but not making any steps to make it better, anyone who is going to gaslight you or, take advantage of you and constantly stirring up negative energy and drama, like those are not the people. If you're sensitive, that is not the people you want to surround yourself with. You will realize all of that once you let it go, just how much chaos they're bringing into your life. So, but yeah. Oh yeah. And that's honestly, I used to get so scared of it. The last one that I had was so bad that I shut everything off for 2 weeks, because I was like, I'm not doing any energy work. I don't want to, I need to let my vibration get right before I try to practice anything, because I don't want to let it back in. And it had a hold on me. But, I honestly haven't really had too many bad experiences since then. It's just, there's a lot of upsets. There's detours and hindrances, and, there's a lot of things trying to disrupt the flow as we all elevate. And instead of being scared of it now, I talk shit to it. I'm like, well, I know I must be doing something right, because if you working this hard to get to me, then, you wouldn't be trying so hard to hold me back if I wasn't moving forward. So fuck off. That's what I do when trolls come in. Like, you just don't feed it. You don't feed it. You have no power here. So, and yeah, sometimes you got it. And that's another thing about awareness and catching yourself. Because sometimes they slip in so smooth. You don't even realize that, like, and it's about gaining momentum. the moment you let that thought in, the moment that you let that voice in, that's starting to decline your energy. And it can be something as simple as saying to yourself or about someone else. And the next thing you know, it gains a little more and it gains a little more. And the next thing you know, you're just angry, you're depressed, you're envious, you're jealous, and you just hate fucking everything. Yeah. So it's not that you can't think these things. It's just you don't want it to gain too much momentum, that it's hard to come back to that positive expectation or the affirmations and remembering who you are on a soul level. This was another thing that I wanted to bring up, is remembering that we are not a body with a soul. We are a soul living in a body, right? This is all temporary. It's temporary. A lot of us live in this world just thinking, oh man, what I can see, feel, touch, these kind of things. We tend to think of ourselves, well, and this was what was coming up in my meditation, like how much just you being in this physical body is a miracle. You know what I'm saying? We have ecosystems living in our body. We have different things that function and, make this whole thing run. I mean, when you really think about it in that terms, that is a miracle in itself, that something like us can be brought into this world, know how to reproduce, know how to survive, know how to live amongst diversity and hate and crime and all these things, and still choose to live a passionate and happy lifestyle. Like, that's a fucking miracle. So, instead of just looking at us as the physical body that we are, that our soul is everlasting and it is simply just housing our light, right? It is simply housing our light. And I feel like that's a very powerful message to remember when we start getting caught up in the 3D bullshit, right? It's all temporary. This fire is temporary. These dogs, this house, this life, everything, it's all temporary. So we need to make the most of it while we're here, right? And that's why we're on a pallet with our dog sitting in front of a fire, because it is Mama's birthday. So,
you're just chilling the hell out.
Yeah, and that's what we do. So I told her we're going to have a movie day and we're going to do whatever she wants. And then we're taking her out to dinner because she deserves that. So, but yeah, guys. So I hope that all of you have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us and all of our shenanigans, and you get to see how we really are, because this is what it's like on a daily basis and why it's easy to be around here. But yeah, we just mess around most of the time. That's all we
Talk
do.
shit.
Talk shit. We're very good shit talkers. So always an interesting day at the household. But yeah, I hope all of you have a great birthday. Thank you for joining us. And if anyone wants to catch the replay, want to send Mama Jo some love, you are more than welcome to leave a comment down below. And oh, by the way, I will let everyone know, I'll make sure to post it, but I will be going on later for my mini reads. It's just going to be later than usual, and I will let everyone know. So we're going to play it by ear. I love you guys, and I hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Bye.